Okay. I just want to make a quick video about one of the blue lights of death for the PS4. Um, Andrew Andrew Paul. He's one of my favorites, to watch, on tutorials and information on PS4. Was talking about how that was one of the worst uh, PS4 problems that there is. From what I'm gathering, that I just got, I don't know everything there is to know. He probably knows 100 times more than I could even dream of. Um, but I wanted to touch base with it with one thing on that. From what I'm seeing with it, okay, is that it is more a hardware issue, okay, overall, okay, so that means I'm not hardware but software issue overall, okay. In other words, what I mean by that is it's a false positive somewhere in the system that says it's got an error, okay. It can't produce videos. It's got to stop, okay. I've noticed with this particular one that it actually got worse the more times I tried to run it. Um, So what I'm going to say is if you have the blue light of death and it's the long light, in other words, the one that doesn't go away, it comes once you get the blue light, it doesn't just keeps glowing on you and like it's trying to work and never does. Okay, what I did and what I would recommend trying with it, okay, is first pull the hard drive, hook it to a computer, test it. Okay, if it tests fine, and do like an extended test with it. Don't just do a quick test. I use Western Digital's test tools. Okay, um, I would run the test on it. If it passes and you're still having the blue light, and I'll put it like this: I could not get into safe mode on this one. So this is how you get into safe mode. This is how you correct the issue. I imagine on some. I mean, I can't be the only one having the same issue. And this is going to correct, say for instance, if you really think that it's a firmware issue, this is probably going to get you into where you can correct the firmware issue. Um, but what I did is I actually pulled the drive, tested the drive. When I realized the drive was not the issue, I wanted to go ahead. I formatted the drive. Okay, I might be lying to you on that because the way my computer was acting, it may not have formatted it. Um, so don't take me verbatim on that. If you can format it, format it. Um, if you can't, then let's go on to the next step. I would like to get a reason why I'm telling you to format that drive is because you need to get the information on it get it away from a PlayStation state. And what I mean by that is you possibly have a false positive somewhere in the firmware. Okay, that could be operating system on the drive. It could be something to do with that. If you got, by all means, if you got personal data on that thing and you think you can get your game saves off of it, I would get it off it. Anything else, I would let it go. Okay, it's time to let that drive go. It's dirty. There's something wrong. Something happened somewhere. Okay, I don't know. I can't give you that information. All I know is that I feel that this is a software imitating hardware issue. Okay, that's the best way to explain it. More like a blue screen of death for a computer, and you know that can be anywhere from hardware to program to driver to anything. Okay, there's so many things. And in my opinion, was with this, it was actually a driver issue with my Bluetooth. Okay, because every time the actuate it come up to actuate for Bluetooth is when it died. When I first noticed it, or not Bluetooth, but a wireless Wi-Fi. Every time it come up for the Wi-Fi, it would die. So it makes me think that it's an actual software issue. But then it got to where it wouldn't run at all. So I'm guessing that once it realizes it must go into like some sort of safe tamper-proof mode. So I'm guessing it's a tamper-proof mode where you cannot get into safe mode after that. So what I did, pulled the drive, tried to format it, didn't format it quite right. Um, uh, did that, pulled the unit apart, uh, pulled the BIOS battery, okay, replaced the BIOS battery. Not just pulled it, replaced it, All right, I put an Energizer BIOS battery in it. Put new thermal compound on it. I checked all my, I checked all the connections. Put all, unloosened the connection. Put every connection back on the board. Um, Put it back together. And this is 2 days. It's been running perfect. Okay, so and then after that, I'm sorry, I put it back together. I put my drive back in it. I put the USB with the new firmware on it, with the I don't know, it was 3.55. It was on the machine, but I wanted to make sure that I had a fresh load on the unit, okay, so that it would flash everything with current firmware and make sure that everything was current without no um, bad logs or anything that could have been corrupted. So anything that's corrupted would have been wiped off the machine, and that is what I think is what did it. Getting the machine where anything that was corrupted cleared. Okay, and when I said, this thing wouldn't boot into safe mode. So whenever I changed that BIOS battery, it cleared CMOS. Okay, whenever I first turned it on, I didn't let it have a chance to boot up twice. When I first turned it on, I plugged it in, I went right into safe mode. Okay, wiped the drive and did the initialization with the firmware, and beautiful. No issues. Thing works great. It is the same hard drive that was in it to start with. The reason why I even have this is because the original owner of this thought it was a hard drive issue. I bought it thinking there was a hard drive issue. I watched Andrew Paul's video on give up. If it has a long light, just give up. So I'm just going to tell you that this is my take on it. I also believe, like he believes, that it's anywhere. That there's no that if that's like I said, if it's a software imitating hardware, that is anywhere. I totally agree with him. But I think that those steps, to remove the drive, to wipe the drive, the pull the CMOS, replace the CMOS, put new thermal paste on it, check all connections, put it back together, put new firmware on it. I think that that's a system for. I'm not going to say this. That's not a diagnostic, okay? Because I don't have an outcome of an actual of the actual problem. But I think it's a system for resolve, okay? System for repair. In other words, there's too many things that can be wrong. So what you do is you handle a massive amount of issues all at once, so that you don't have an issue. Okay. And Andrew Paul, I'm going to message you with this so that you can see this. Maybe this will work for. Maybe hopefully you have some in the back and can work this trick with it real quick and get them on. Please make a video if you do. Thank you.